how's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Lovely Molly. This is from 2011, directed by Eduardo Sanchez, who you may remember as one of the co-directors of the Blair Witch Project. This movie stars Gretchen Lodge, Johnny Lewis, and Alexandra Holden. And I remember when I first stumbled across this movie, I thought this cover was so super creepy. It was all grungy and like those symbols in her eyes. And I took it home, and the first time I watched it, I was really creeped out by it. You're all alone in this old farmhouse in the middle of nowhere, and there's this evil spirit going after this woman, but pressing its way in through things like trauma and addiction. It felt really grounded, really down to earth, and just super, super creepy. I really like this movie, and I remember that first impression the first time I saw it, but surprisingly over the years, I haven't heard too many people talk about this one. It's kind of a bit of a hidden gem, and this review is really long overdue. It's obviously one that I definitely recommend checking out, but without further ado, what's the movie about? No spoilers. But the idea for this one is you have a young woman named Molly. In the past, she dealt with trauma because of an abusive father, and that would lead to substance abuse, and in the past she had been in a rehabilitation center. However, when we start off the movie, things are going good for Molly. She's been off the drugs and she's getting married. We open up on her wedding night, and everything seems really happy. The only problem is she's kind of poor. And the only place that she has where she can go to live is the house of her dead father, a place with a lot of bad memories tied to it. To make things even worse, her husband is a truck driver, which means that she'll be left alone in the house by herself for days on end. Like I said, creepy old house in the middle of the country. You really get the feel for those dark, almost black nights outside, and it is really not pleasant to be left alone. Needless to say, Molly starts to see things that other people don't, hear whispers, and she starts to become convinced that maybe her father isn't entirely dead. And I guess getting into the finer points, first off, Molly is a really good character to follow. She's someone who you can see the trauma she's been through. She's young and innocent and you want her to succeed, but you can totally see how the evil spirit is going to go in and attack her. It's going to prey upon her trauma and work her way in through things like addiction, and it starts off very small. One of the first things the evil spirit does is break in through the back door. And yeah, maybe it's just kids. The house had been abandoned for a long time. It's just a back door being open. But then after that, a bit of an emotional punch. It turns out her husband has to do this trip when it's her birthday, so she's going to be left alone in this house on her birthday, and when her sister comes over to celebrate, well, it turns out she has a little marijuana on her. Why not share? I mean, I know I'm clean, but it's just one joint. What could it possibly hurt, right? It starts off small, and this is the kind of movie where things slowly escalate, and when things go too far, you're not 100% sure where was the point in the past where we crossed a line. Where did things get too far? And I love how so much of her troubles are rooted in real-world relatable things. The husband has to go away because he has to do his job, but even still, the only place they can live is the old house because they are so poor. She has a job as a janitor at the mall, and we get a few scenes showing how monotonous that is. But it's a low-paying job, and when the husband starts to say, hey, maybe you should go see a doctor, maybe this is a medical thing, that's quickly shut down because she doesn't have insurance. And yeah, there is a spirit here. Some could argue that maybe it's all a metaphor, but the spirit is preying upon someone who really doesn't have much, and it really knows what paths to take to worm its way in, and how just cruel the world can be. The movie also looks very, very creepy. That dark farmhouse in the middle of nowhere is captured so well by the cinematographers and colorist. And one thing I absolutely love about this movie is the color palette. Have you ever seen a video of an inside of a house and it's not really color graded and the light bulbs will give off this ugly shade of yellow? It uses that shade of yellow as well as some greens and some grays and really mixes in this grungy color palette. I love it so much, and plus the movie has a good use of shadows, at times almost seeming monochromatic. This movie looks super creepy. And also, as I brought up at the top, this was made by one of the directors of the Blair Witch Project, and in turn, much like Blair Witch, it is played super subtly. Maybe it would have been fun to do a bigger, more over-the-top scare every so often, but as it stands now, if you want that subtle, grounded feel, like you got in Blair Witch, that's also in this movie. I will say one thing that Blair Witch had and this one doesn't is the sense of lore. You get enough to know that there's something here, but Blair Witch, you could really dig into that. We know this evil spirit has something to do with horse imagery, and at one point we see her remove some boards and there's like deep down in this hole, this like stone with the evil symbol carved in. I wish we got to know a bit about the magic, you know, I wish we got to know a little bit more about what was going on here. There are hints of it, and that really gets me intrigued, but there's not enough to really sink your teeth into, like there was for Blair Witch. And while we are talking about Blair Witch, there are a few scenes through the perspective of a camera. It's not the whole movie. This isn't a found footage film or anything. And I get the cynical among us would say, oh, they're just making him do that because he's the Blair Witch guy. But I do want to say this is a grounded movie. So in general, when you see the found footage sections, they do feel very real. I in particular love the beginning wedding scene being done completely through found footage and feeling very much like a home movie. It doesn't overstay its welcome, it's just a small part of the movie, but to see the perspective of Molly's camera when she's seeing something and she's trying to get it on video for proof, but then you can cross this quite effectively with scenes through the camera's perspective where it's obvious that Molly's probably not in control. Good, creepy point of view shots there. It does feel realistic, even if maybe it was conceived as a gimmick, who knows. But overall, yeah, I really do like this movie. It's a good, creepy looking movie with a really solid metaphor behind it. And to see the spirit come in and work her way into its head more and more, and doing it through so many everyday devices, it's a really good movie, and I definitely recommend it. I really wish more people were talking about it. This is one of the movies that I consider to be a bit of a hidden gem, and if you guys have seen it, let me know what you thought about it. But anyway, one more quick thing while I got you guys here. Just recently on this channel, I posted a new short film. It's called One Little Problem. My cast, crew, and I worked really hard on it, and if you guys want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the cards and probably the description as well. It would mean the world to me if you went there and supported it, so if you want to, you can check it out. Anyway though, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. If you guys want to see my reviews for more movies kind of like this, you can click right here and see more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very soon. Playlist here. Have a good day now.